It's 1:30 in the morning on February 10th, I suppose it is. I started hanging out last night, February 9th, with my friends at around 9:30, and I just got done and it's about 1:30. And I have to say, I'm not that tired. In fact, I feel very bright. Let's use that word. I feel very bright for some reason, and I think it's because I've been writing in my past, present, and future authoring thing that my biggest goal is to put people first. And that doesn't mean put people first in all scenarios. It just means that relative to what I've done in my life, i.e., focusing on myself, I should be focusing on others and trying to give others opportunities instead of worrying about myself and progressing as an individual and having trust that like putting effort in other people as opposed to myself will pay off more, if not the same amount. So I have been on the logistics crew for the Marching Royal Dukes for the past 2 years, and there are about 7 of us each year. 7 last year, 6 this year, and it's been a while since I got to hang out with this year's logistics crew, and we finally got to hang out. And it was only 4 of us tonight, and so we were missing a few people, but it was really cool to just be able to sit down with a really, really close group of people. I would say they're probably my closest group of friends that I have here, and it was really nice to sit down with them and get to talk to them in a close way. I don't know, it just doesn't happen very often, and I missed it a lot. And so my bedtime is usually 10. So I could have said and put myself first and said, I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock tonight, wake up at 5, and be a productive person tomorrow before my family comes to see me. Or what I chose to do is, my plan was to stay until like 11 or something, but I put people first and I stayed. Not because I was like, man, I have to put people first. It was like I was genuinely loving the conversation and time that I was having. And instead of cutting that short for myself, I let it go on until 1:30 in the morning, and I feel so much more fulfilled. Like huge, significantly better than I have in like a while. And I think this feeling of just appreciation for others and life in general will dissipate by the time I wake up tomorrow morning, especially when I feel really groggy and stuff, which I'll just have to fight through, which is fine. It's gonna go away though, and I know it's gonna go away. But let's use an extended or like a reach. Let's reach for a metaphor right now. So it's like a stalactite from the ceiling, and if you don't know how stalactites form, it's because water drips from the ceiling, and every time it drips, a little bit of the something like calcium or something in it, or lime or something, just stays behind from where it dripped. And so over time, it comes down and down, and then it drips from that spot more often. And so the sediment builds up as it keeps dripping down. So you lose most of the drip, but then it keeps building up a little bit. So I think that feeling is going to dissipate more than anything. Like with the water drop, it's going to dissipate away, and I will forget this fulfilled feeling of the full water drop that I have right now. And I'll have plenty more water drops, but with each new water drop, as the feeling dissipates tomorrow, I think it will leave behind a little bit of sediment that will stick around for me with the rest of my time. It's like another Q-tip kind of idea. Little by little, my stalactite will grow, and eventually it'll be larger, significantly. Like, how did those things form? It took years, hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years to form those stalactites. And in real life, it's going to be the same way. Even though those immediate feelings go away, I think a little bit of it stays behind and solidifies in you, even if it's not completely present at the moment. So I'm really grateful right now. I appreciate that a lot. And it's been a while since I have given an update of any sort. It's been going well, it's just been going slightly boringly. There have been a few cool things. I mean, my birthday happened. I totally could have recorded stuff on that day. Like, I got to play with the dog. That was really fun. I liked that a lot. There were no ferrets, but I got to play with the dog, and he was super cute. It was great. Um, it's been going pretty well. I'm starting to train in like 2 weeks for my new job, and I work like 38 hours next week, which is the most I've ever worked in a week. That will be my record. I also spent over $100 in groceries and gas combined tonight. That hurt pretty bad. So it's been going relatively well, but I just haven't seen too much of a point to give updates. And part of that is just because it's slipped in my mind a little bit because I've been unfocused here and focused there and stuff like that. But I think it'll get more interesting once I finish the future authoring program, which I finished the first part of tonight. And maybe I'll do the second tomorrow or over the course of a few days, but I think I'm going to start it tomorrow. And then I'll have goals from that to work on, and that's where it will begin, for sure. But that's going to be the hard part. This is the easy part because I still have a goal, but I need to keep making those goals. Anyways, I'm rambling on now, and I need to just go to bed. Good night. Hey there, so it is February 12th, it's Monday, and technically I've gone past Sunday, which marks the end of 2 weeks, which means I'm over by a day, but we're gonna make the recap anyway, and then we'll move on to next week after this. So the past 2 weeks have been really good, I would say. It feels like I haven't done too much, but in retrospect, I totally have. I feel like life is kind of averaging out at this point, and stuff isn't really difficult to pull off or to manage or to mentally prepare for. But it's just that I'm in the game now. I'm like in the marathon, past the starting point, when your muscles have just like gotten used to it and they've accepted that you're going to be running for a really long time. So you might as well not even like pay attention to the pain because it knows you're not going to stop. Like it's still work, but it doesn't feel as painful as it once did. And I think that's kind of a huge deal. So I would like to go over the things that I did these past 2 weeks that I felt really, really good about, because I think that's what we're here for, I guess. Maybe some things I didn't feel too good about too. I didn't even think about that until now. Things that went well. So I hung out with my logistics friends. It was just 4 of us, but it was a really good time. We had cookies. We watched a really bad horror film or like show that didn't make it to the air, so they put it on a DVD to make some money. And we talked about life and stuff. It was an amazingly good time. I stayed up past my bedtime. I mean, you saw that video like a few seconds ago. It was really fun, really fulfilling, and I would say that yeah, it filled me up, and I felt really good after that. I also hung out with my friend Jared, and it's weird because I haven't hung out with like anybody in college, and if I have, it was just getting food, and so like Jared and I got food, but I mean, we usually just talked in passing. So like even doing that was a huge step. But I think from here on out we can do other things. And like last night, I think it was Sunday, I went over there and we made my D&D character because we're gonna start playing D&D, which is like another thing that's going really really well right now. And so it's really good to start to build those individual friendships as well as the groupular ones. And he's a really great guy, and I just appreciate time with him. So, and then I also hung out with my family who came on Saturday, I think, for my birthday, which was like on Wednesday of this past week, on the 7th. And we went shopping because I officially got the job at Books A Million, and I will be working there soon, training not this week but next week. So that should be fun. So I have to get clothes, and so I have like pretty much never gone shopping without my mother. So she came down with my grandma to help go shopping. That was a lot of fun. Got food, ate a lot, and yeah, that was a really good time. And then on the day before my birthday, on the 6th, I was with Caitlin, and we hung out pretty much all day, and we went to Sylvia's pet shop to see the ferrets because our friends went there and like sent us Snapchats of the ferret that was there, and it was super cute, and I had to go because I love ferrets. They're like one of my favorite animals ever, and this store has them, and they're amazing. But alas, they weren't there that day. But there was a dog. There was a little puppy. He was like 3 months old, and we got to play with him, and so my day was pretty much made by that. So Thank you, Caitlin, for making me leave the house and get out and go do stuff on my birthday. One of the biggest things and one of the greatest things I think that I might just tend to look over if I don't recognize it and like maybe like applaud myself for it a little bit. I finished the entirety of the self-authoring program by Jordan B. Peterson, and that took a lot of work. I mean, it's taken weeks. I forgot when I first started that, but it's taken forever. I'm gonna have to make another video on that because the present and future authoring programs also helped me a lot, as well as the past. And now I just feel like I understand myself a whole lot more, and I know where to go from here. And all this hanging out that I'm doing with other people is because I've realized that a lot of my energy, and if you want to call it like passion, I just call it energy for life, comes from people. And a lot of the energy that I have to be productive and to learn new things and get really good at things is from being around amazing and inspiring people that I just enjoy being with and like having that home base, because I realize like if you don't accomplish the biggest goals you ever have, you know, if you're working hard and you're with friends and like people that you care about, you can't be wrong. Like you just can't be wrong unless you're committing crimes and stuff. But you know what I'm saying. This is just a gist video, so we'll go into that deeper later. I've also been going to the gym rather consistently. I skipped like 3 days in a row. I had a streak of that these past 2 weeks, and I ended up not feeling very good about it. Like I felt mentally bad and ashamed for having not gone, but I think I also just felt physically bad because I didn't go. But I've been on a streak recently, and I feel good, and I'm actually starting to see results a little bit in the form and also in the weights that I'm able to lift are kind of like going up very gradually. But that's nice because I can notice that I can do things easier even if it's the same weight, which means I can target the muscles better and work them out better. So I think it might be a little bit of an exponential curve at the very beginning of this learning curve for working out and stuff. So that's good, and I like that. It makes me get up, get out, and like get my endorphins going. So that's good. It feels so weird to wake up at 5 in the morning and to be running on a treadmill by like 5:15. Just think about you woke up 15 minutes ago and now you're running, and I don't know. It's kind of like a triumphant moment, even though it kind of sucks at the time. You know, you're kind of like, hey, this is cool. Like I'm up at 5. This is good. This is worth it. I've stayed on track with cooking and eating more in general. I got bigger bowls, like larger bowls for my birthday, so now I can fit more in the bowl and like stir it without getting stuff everywhere. And I've actually, I've kind of gone back on the zero carb thing, and I'm starting to eat a bowl of pasta on the side after every like meal that I cook for myself, because it's a good way to gain weight. And my main goal in terms of that is to gain up to I want to get to be 170 pounds. I started at like 144 fluctuating, and now I'm like 150 or something like that. So I think it's a little fast, and I think it's a little bit too fast, but one day we'll get there, and then I'll have to trim down, and then I'll have to go up, and then stuff like that. But I think the ideal for right now, and the goal by the end of the year, is to be consistently somewhere around like 170 in a toned way, not like a blubber nugget kind of way. It really doesn't matter, the physique, honestly. I could kind of care less. I just think it's about like going there and being like, yeah, I did that. For me, at least, that's kind of how I like to feel about it. I've started working more, and I have currently this week 38 hours, which is the most I've worked in a week. But it feels good because I'm paying for things, and it's weird because like I'm paying for rent, and I used to not pay for rent for my like entire college career, and now I'm here sitting in this apartment that I pretty much paid for, and alas, I still have a little bit of financial help, which is very nice and I'm very appreciative for. But it's still kind of nice to think that like I'm paying to live in here. It's not really something I've stopped to think about just yet, but that's an accomplishment, I think. I have at least 8 concrete goals, and I don't have them completely sorted out from the future authoring program, but my plan is to figure out which ones I want to do first and which ones like maybe are going to be passive. Like making videos I think are passive because I'm doing them like every week, so it's like a thing I do once a week. Whereas some of the things are more active, like going to the gym or practicing piano or that kind of thing. Let me go grab my tea real quick. It's very important. It's somewhere over here or something. I'm gonna go do that. Another thing about work is that it is mentally easier to go to. I think at the beginning of this video I said going to work feels like a battle. And I think it does still feel like a battle, but it feels like a manageable battle. I feel like I'm in such a better mood now that I can start to kind of influence the workplace and I can be that person who kind of changes the tone of things. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm just keeping it alive and I'm not really pushing it. But I think it's been getting mentally easier and I enjoy it more and I'm grateful for what I have. I've also been following through on plans. Well, I've been planning. Like that's huge for me. If anybody knows me and is watching this, they know that I am awful at planning. I usually won't plan things until the day of, and now I'm kind of the opposite. Like if it's the day of, I won't do it because I need to plan things ahead of time. And it's weird because I've always been such a, I wouldn't say spontaneous person. I've just not been a planning person. I've never been one for schedules. I've never been one for structure. That's the word I was looking for. Structure has never described me until now. And I like it a lot. It's very good. It's very helpful. It's very organized. And I think I'm just living like an organized life and it feels good. And so I'm planning things with people and I'm actually doing them because I realize if I stake out that time, one, it'll be fulfilling because I'll be with people and that energizes me. Two, that'll force me to be smarter with the time outside that I have outside of being with other people. I've been procrastinating less because I have less time to procrastinate with. Plus, I don't feel like I need to procrastinate as much because I feel like this weird fulfillment that I don't need to be doing these things or like watching videos for hours. It's much easier to hop off of the videos after watching them during dinner or something and get to work right after that, or move from one thing to another. Like my focus has increased and my flow state has like gotten a little bit better and I'm realizing how I'm working and that's all great. And so planning hanging out with people has kind of been the crux of productivity inadvertently. It's not something that I set out to do. It's not like me whipping myself into productivity. It's just like a tangential outcome of being around others and planning to be with them. And I plan on planning more and being with people. And I don't know, I plan to hang out with somebody tomorrow and Wednesday night. Like I have these plans and it really, 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 really helps because I have something to look forward to. And that feels really good. Like surprisingly good. It's not really that surprising. It's kind of surprising. If you told myself this like 3 years ago, it'd be crazy. I've also discovered something that has helped tremendously, and that is called napping. I got napping. It's not an original idea, but what made me actually start napping is Jocko Willink, the Navy SEAL. He said during BUD/S training, which if you don't know is like the hardest part of, no, I won't say that. It's not the hardest part of like being a SEAL. It's the crazy like training program they have at the very beginning that weeds you out or something. I don't know much about it. It's hard. It's really hard, and they deprive you of sleep for forever, for days, weeks, or whatever. And he said that whenever he got the chance, he would lay down, put his feet up, and take 8-minute naps, and that was about all he could manage getting, and it helped him massively. So I was like, 8 minutes, like I can do 8 minutes. Whereas before in my life, if I said I'm gonna lay down for 8 minutes, I was like, that's 8 minutes I can be being productive. And now I know that I would not be productive those 8 minutes because I'd be tired and cranky and I would lack the will and whatever to do it. And I know now that if I just lay down, especially like after I eat a big meal or right before I go into work, if I just take a nap, like right after I eat a really, really big meal, like after dinner or something, I lay down, I take a nap. I have to take it for like 16 minutes. 16 because I would do 15, except I have to like rub my eyes and get comfortable for like a minute, and so having that minute buffer time really helps. But gosh, I feel so relaxed afterwards, like so relaxed. And it's an impressive feeling. It's really good to feel that. It's like you can feel the muscles in your body, like in your belly, and it's just like you need to nap. Like you won't digest anything, you won't get any REM sleep or anything, but for some reason you just wake up and then you kind of like you can feel yourself gradually get to this peak, this plateau, and it's not like you're gonna be jumping through the roofs. Maybe it will be, but you're at this plateau where you're just kind of content, and you're like, I just feel good, I feel like warm and cozy, and not like warm and cozy like right after you eat Thanksgiving dinner. It's like you just ate the entire Thanksgiving spread, and then you took a nap, and now it's just like emanating through your body, and I don't know, you just feel really interesting. So I would advise 15-minute naps, and you have to pay attention to your body when you need them. They're super important. I think I'll make maybe like a separate video on this too. Like it's been really crucial in just helping me survive the day and like transitioning from one period of my day to the next, and just managing my energy and my mood as well. It's really helped. Overall, to wrap it all up, I feel rather balanced, and this is one of the first times I felt balanced. My only goal has been the self-authoring program because I feel like I need to figure out what my goals are. Like I need to sort myself out. But now that I don't have that, it will be a challenge. So this next week or 2 weeks will be all about the challenge of not having the convenience of figuring out my goals. Now my goals are actually doing my goals and carrying those out. So I guess I'm looking forward to that challenge. I'm looking forward to actually doing something outside of the self-authoring program. I feel like it's a manageable kind of thing now. So that definitely helps. But now I'm going to go edit this video, try to get it up pretty quick, and then get on to the next week, even though that's already started. But again, if you're here, you totally don't need to be here. You didn't need to be here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it a lot. And I don't know yet what I want this to do, but I hope that it can maybe give you an idea. Like maybe the napping is something you want to try. I personally, I failed to mention this. Like I lay on the ground and I put my feet in this chair here, so that they're elevated and kind of sitting up on the top of it. It just helps you get the blood out of your legs and like back into your body and stuff. I don't know. He said it, and I like it, and it keeps your back flat. Like that's one of my favorite things. Anyway, like that's why I can't save this information for a separate video, even though I'm going to probably maybe make it, because maybe it'll give you an idea and you can just start doing it. Like that's all I could ever ask for out of this, is like maybe there's one thing you can take from it and try to apply it. And maybe if there's something that you've tried and you want to like leave it in the comments below or something like that, that'd be awesome. Or like send me a link to a video so I can watch that and maybe get some inspiration from that too. Other than that, I just want to say I really appreciate it if you made it this long. I'd be really surprised if you did, so go you. I hope you have a great life, and just remember that life is like a box of Q-tips. It's one day at a time, small steps. It seems insignificant, but it contributes towards an important thing in life: healthy ear hygiene. See ya.